Okay, Iitaamito'too'p Iitao'tsstoyi. We've arrived well to the first winter moon, Iitao'tsstoyi, when cold arrives. And this is my phenology study site, Spobikimi. I went and visited on the first and second day of this lunar cycle, October 2nd and 3rd, 2016, and took a little video about what's going on there right now. This is a lesser yellowlegs, Otakoika in Blackfoot, which also means yellow legs. It's one of the shorebirds that comes around this time of year. I don't see them any other time of year at Spobikimi, but they're always around, Blackfoot territory somewheres. But they're making their southern migration. When I say always, I don't mean in the winter though. I mean during the summer they're around. I think what I was trying to get here is a redhead duck. There he is. Redhead duck that's feeding there. I've been studying here for about 10 years, and we used to have a pretty established couple of redhead families that were nesting here, but in the last maybe 4 years or so, haven't seen that happening. Or if they have, their nests have been destroyed. Haven't come to term. But it's always nice to see them out there anyway. And I think this one's probably familiar with the place and just stopping by again on the winter migration. We're getting, different birds coming by and dropping in at the pond. A little bit further up to the area called North Pond, we have a pair of Iitaamito'too'p Canada geese. Iitaamito'too'p in Blackfoot means white jaw. You can see there's a mallard drake there too, hanging off to their left. The mallard drakes are back with their wives and their families, having went off and partied with the boys most of the summer. Unlike the geese ganders, who always stay close to their mates. This is another bit on the lesser yellowlegs hopping around. There's a greater yellowlegs that come through sometimes too. You can tell the difference between them because the greater yellowlegs is a little bit taller and his beak is has a little bit more of a tilted shift to it, and when he's going along in the water like this, he doesn't peck like the lesser yellowlegs pecks. Lesser yellowlegs is more of a pecker, and the greater yellowlegs kind of sweeps its beak through the water, getting invertebrates and such. Pond is always low, or I shouldn't say pond. It's really an oxbow of the river, but it's been isolated by a couple of man-made levees that create a pond environment. It's a wetlands. Here's Spoke B, sits on top, the painted turtle. And this is what I named this oxbow after. I call it Spobikimi in Blackfoot, the turtle waters. It's also known as Elizabeth Hall Wetlands in Lethbridge. And the turtles were up at the water surface, not basking in the air. The water must be warmer than the air. It got down to 0 degrees Celsius the night before I filmed this, and it was maybe 9 degrees as I was filming. So it's not too warm for them. And as I'm doing this narration, a few days later, it's gotten even colder. So I'm not going to say that we've seen the last of the turtles for the season, but probably the snakes have gone down, and I bet the turtles will be going down shortly. This is hairy golden aster, one of the flowers that's still in bloom right now, and I always stop to check out who all the pollinators are. There's a couple of different species of bee working these flowers and some other insects. This is the main one that I'm filming here is a honeybee, a typical European honeybee, but there's also a bee about the same size with more kind of grayish lines that I don't know the species of. And there are non-bees working these flowers as well. Right now, this is one of the most brightest flowers out and around. There's very few flowers still open. This is a thread-waisted wasp here. One of the thread-waisted wasps, one that I see all the time during the summer here. And that butterfly there is a pink-edged sulfur. And I think I catch a drone fly on these flowers too. So right now we have these tufted or hairy golden asters. We also have tufted white prairie asters open right now. Showy asters, blue flax, a little bit of mullein. Let's see what else is flowering I can think of. It's not much. It's definitely end of season. Gumweed's already played out, and in fact most of these hairy golden asters are played out. This is just an odd plant that happened to have a lot of flowering left on it. Oh yes, sneezeweed is another. That right there is the drone fly. They hibernate here in the near Spobikimi, in the cavities made by the bank swallows along the river. Moving on, we have Mochgami, the great blue heron. And normally, this time of year, as the pond is shallow, we have several herons visit. I see them at the beginning of the season, and then at the end of the season. They do nest in Iitao'tstoyi and in Blackfoot territory, both to the south of me and the north of me, different places. But this particular backwater here is just not one of the places that they've chosen to develop rookeries in. So I don't see them for most of the summer, but I see them at the beginning and end, and usually at the end I see more of them. This one I've just got him preening. The yellow flowers you see there are sneezeweed on that island. Most of the sneezeweed is played out, but these ones that are very close to the water like this still have enough moisture, I think, to be in bloom. Okay, you can see here a larger group of Opspiniques, Canada geese. And so this is a group that may be on its preparations for moving south, although all of the geese are going to be gathering in clans and larger tribal families here shortly. Some of them are going to leave for the season, and others are going to stick around. Every year we seem to have more open water crags on the river. The winters have been more and more relaxed, and the more open water we have, the more geese remain. This is the Iitaamito'too'p the beaver lodge, and their scent mound out in front. And I'm just filming it to show that from this angle I can't see any food cache for winter, which normally on these days of the year, these first days of Iitao'tstoyi, there is a food cache, but that's usually on the years when the solar, when the moon starts later in the solar year. Might start more toward the end of October than the beginning. There was just some disturbance with the geese I wanted to show there. More footage of the redhead duck. It's hanging out with a mallard couple. It's much smaller than the mallards. I normally get a pie-billed grebe this time of year too, and some widgeons, American widgeons, and usually that clan of American widgeons that comes through the beginning and end of the season also have with them one Eurasian, but they normally come at the very beginning of the season and the very end of the season, and I don't see them otherwise. Out here, I know it's hard to see, there's a wood duck family. We have been getting more wood ducks stopping by here. The one that's standing tall there is a wood duck. We have been getting more wood ducks standing or coming around Spokane the last 3 years. This is the first time I've seen them stop by at the end of season. I've seen them coming at the beginning of the season and staying a while, looking like they might nest, but then eventually departing. There's a population, a breeding population, up in one of the bird sanctuaries in Calgary, and that's probably where these ones went after leaving here, but it sure does seem to me that they have been hoping to nest here, or at least scoping it out for the future. It's interesting when you do long-term study here to see how things change. This is a honeybee on a white sweet clover, and that's the one I had forgotten that's still in bloom a little bit. Little bit of white sweet clover, a lot of it's already dried out, you can see that in the background there. And the white sweet clover gets some seeds on it that this time of year are collectible and dryable and edible and good to eat, but you don't want to wait too long on them. Once it gets more into the winter, they get this grayish fungus on them, and that fungus does bad things to your brain. So if you're going to collect them while they're green or while they're black. This is on top of the beaver lodge from the other angle, and now I can see that there is a food cache started. It's just beginning. The tips of the willows are just beginning to surface above the water. They still got a lot of work to do before the winter, so they're in no rush, and so you can expect the pond is not going to freeze over really quickly here. For a few weeks anyway, although I do expect we're going to get some cold coming around, some snow and such. Muskrat. This is one of the couple of muskrats that live in the beaver lodge itself. Muskrats have some of their own lodges at Spokane as well, but there is a couple who lives in the beaver lodge. They have an entrance to their own room off of the main entrance of the beaver lodge. And on the beaver lodge, there's still a little bit of mint you can see here. It's green and pickable and nice and strong, good mint tea. Traditional Blackfoot mint tea. Most of the mint now is dried up, but on the beaver lodge, it's moist, so it stays a little green. There's that Gumby again. Another spot, that's the same rock actually that the yellow legs was standing on at the beginning of my filming here. And I keep getting in kind of preening and such, but I have seen them and photographed them in the past hunting. Basically their legs are like, they're from in the water, their legs look like the stalks of cattails and bulrushes, so the fish will just swim right up to them if they're moving slow enough or standing still, and the herons will pick them out, and they can swallow some really big fish. Which Spokane they eat northern pike. This is some of the blue flax. Just wanted to show it. Didn't turn out very well on film. But yeah, that was my, that's what's going on right now over there. Signs of the time, the lunar time, and the solar time.